Hello again, Rob Harrington, Cranky Old Car Guy, self-imposed moniker. I shaved for you today. I'm gonna get a haircut on the next one, okay? Today we're gonna talk about the used car business in 2023 because it is a disaster and everybody's gonna pay the price. So anyhow, let's start off with pre-COVID levels 3 years ago. I had about a 40-50 car lot, 3 people hanging out. I was spending about $25,000 a month just to break even with all that overhead and expense. And a buddy of mine, I'm crying to my buddy up in Atlanta, who I've known for 30 years. We wholesale together, against each other, with each other. Good buddies, brothers, really. And he says, Rob, send all your cars up here. If they're frontline ready, that means fixed, ready to go. You're gonna sell them to the major corporations such as Carvana, National Auto Sales, Drive Time. They're paying stupid money for cars right now. Roughly about 150% of MMR, which is a Manheim valuation tool, means they're paying me 30-40% more than the car was really kind of supposed to be worth in a normal market, because they were struggling to get inventory. And I didn't believe them. I said, no way, impossible. You know, how can I make $2,000 more a copy wholesale through, let's say, a Manheim auction up in Atlanta, and sell to these companies for $2,000 more than I'm trying to get retail in Northwest Florida? Doesn't make sense. Mathematically impossible. I sent them up there and made $2,000 more a copy, and that turned my retail life back into wholesale again, which I did decades ago and through parts of my career. So anyhow, where are we at today? Well, all those big corporations are now hurting because they pay too much for all those cars. Consumer demand is way down. So in terms of being way down, inventory is way down as well. You would think if it's high inventory levels and low consumer confidence, low consumer demand, that's great for the consumer. The problem is we have low inventory as well. And going back to prove my point, look at the franchise stores who now sell junk on their lots in the used car side, primarily because during COVID and they had the chip shortage, the manufacturers weren't importing or making or manufacturing enough new cars to sell on the franchise store lots. So they got over into the independent companies' lanes and started keeping those cars, not sending them to the auction, but keeping them and retailing them, which is not going to be good news for the franchise guys' reputations moving forward. They're going to get hammered. And, you know, this is what happens when you sell used cars that are really an aggregation of 4,000 plus or minus used parts and several systems and processes that make these cars go. The problems nowadays are the cars are too complicated, way too many computers, way too many sensors, way too many microprocessors. It's basically a mobile computer on 4 wheels, and the poor consumer is going to pay for those repair bills. The wholesale guys are going to pay, and the independent lots are going to pay to fix those cars. And quite frankly, cars are going to become unsustainable, in about 5 to 10 years. It's going to be really difficult to own a car. So now let's fast forward to today. There's not enough inventory on the marketplace, and the keyboard warriors, you know who you are. You have this false sense of confidence that you know everything because you have access to the computer, the internet, and a keyboard. No, you don't, right? Remember that video? The bottom line is your process is backwards or faulty, and you're basing this on an assumption that you have all this information. But if you're not applying the right information properly, you're going to fail. And you're going to waste a bunch of your time, money, and effort, and you're still going to pay too much, because right now in 2023, the dealers are probably making more profit per unit than they've ever made, like during COVID and now, than they ever had in 30, 40, 50 years prior to that, per unit. The only issue now is that the dealers are selling less cars across the board. So the next video, we're going to talk about your process on how to buy a car properly. Just treat the crusty old car guy as your daddy or your big brother or whatever. I'll give you the straight advice. I don't want your money. I'm going to leave my legacy of 37 years in this industry and having written books and manuals for the car business during part of that time, and owned a lot of independent stores and wholesale and retail. Owned some garage repairs. I'm not a mechanic. I hired brilliant guys to work with me. Some of them were brilliant, some more than others. But I'm here to tell you the truth about the car business, and I don't sugarcoat anything, and you know that by now. So enjoy this video. Think about what we're talking about, and I'll queue up the next video in a week or so, and we'll talk about here's a better process. So anyhow, this is where we're at in 2023. Not a good time to buy, not a good time to sell, lack of inventory, crazy prices still, lack of buyers, lack of qualified buyers, and that's where we sit. The perfect storm. CARMAGEDDON 2023. Ain't it great? Anyhow, have a blessed day. Peace out. Bye.